Alrighty, today your learning target is I will recognize the slope from different forms of linear equations. So today we're going to be looking at equations that are written in different formats and being able to pick out the slope from them. Alright, so the first form is the point slope form. And this is in the format of y minus y1 equals the quantity m times the quantity x minus x1. Okay, so you have m as your slope, as is indicated with the blue M there. This is your slope, and this is your point. This is any point that's going to be on that line. Okay, so let's do an example here. All right, so if they give me that the equation of y plus 3 equals negative 1/3 x minus 1, I should be able to pick out the slope as well as the point that's on that line. So remember, the slope's going to be right here. It's going to be right in front of that the quantity x minus or plus something. Okay, so your slope is going to be negative 1/3. And if it asks what's a point on that line, you know that this is your y value and this is your x value. So you would know that the point is 1, 3. Now some of you might have said negative 1, 3 because you're looking right here. But if you look at your formula over here, this is a negative 1. Now, hopefully you'll see that I made a mistake when I just wrote that, because this is also minus y1, but this is a plus y here. So that means that we could also rewrite this as y minus negative 3. So that means that our y value is actually a negative. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and have you do this one by yourself. Okay, you should have gotten that your slope is going to be 1/4. And if it asks you for the line, it's going to be a negative 2, because see, this says plus, so it's negative 2, and then a positive 3. All right, the next form that we have is called standard form. Okay, standard form looks like this. It's ax plus by equals c. Now the c is not super important right now. We will get to that later. It's just not something we need to worry too much about right now. But you do need to know this capital A and this capital B. Those are going to be numbers, and you'll see in the example here in just a moment what that looks like. So if I look at the example here, so I have find the slope 7x plus y equals 15. And we know that our slope is going to be a negative a over b. Okay, so if we look over here, we're going to have, here's our a, and you don't see a number here in front of the y. When there's not a number, that means it's a number 1. So our b is going to be 1. So remember that our slope is negative a over b. So it's going to be a negative 7 over 1. Okay, let's do another one. All right, I'll have you do this one by yourself. Okay, so we have 4x minus 3y equals 12. And what I always like to do is I like to rewrite it so it's exactly like the formula that we see. So we see that this is ax plus by equals c. So I'm going to rewrite this to say 4x plus negative 3y equals 12. Then I can very easily distinguish what my capital A and what my capital B are. So if I look over here, here's my capital A, and here's my capital B. And remember, this is a negative a over b. So it's going to be negative 4 over negative 3, which you know is the negatives cancel, so it's going to be 4 over 3 for your slope. All right, the last form and the one that you should already be familiar with is the slope-intercept form. That's your y equals mx plus b, where your m, again, is your slope, because typically that's how we show slope is with a letter m, and then your y-intercept is this b right here. What that tells us is that is where on your coordinate plane, that is where your line is going to cross the y-axis. Okay, so it's going to be this point right there. Okay, it's going to be that point right where it crosses that y-axis, okay? And that's what this b is going to be right here. Okay, so let's do some examples. All right, so if I give you y equals 3/4 x minus 2, and let's say that I ask you the slope, but I also ask you, what is the y-intercept? Okay, if I were to ask you the slope, you should be able to tell me that it's the number right before the x, which in this case is going to be 3/4. Okay, and then if I ask you for the y-intercept, that's where it kind of gets a little bit tricky on this one. Like I said, I like to rewrite my equations so that they look exactly like in the example. So I'm going to rewrite this to look like this. Y equals 3/4 x plus -2. Okay, now some of you should be able to see that that's a -2 just by looking at it, but some of you may need to rewrite it, and that's totally okay. So that tells us that our y-intercept is this -2. Okay, so if we were to graph that, it would be a linear line, and it's going to cross that -2, and it's going to go up 3 and over 4. Okay, let's do one on your own. All right, so on this one, again, we want to find the y-intercept as well as the slope. So the y-intercept and the slope. Oops, not y equals, y-intercept equals. All right, so your slope is going to be 5, and your y-intercept is going to be a +2. So slope-intercept is the most commonly used form, and it's also what I believe to be the easiest form. And that is all the forms of slope.